107. कम हो गया है क्या? ये क्या हो रहा है? तो कम हो गया है. Now I'm controlling it. Don't. आती हो तो बारिश लेते आना. आ रही है ना बारिश? दिल में मेरे है दर्द है डिस्को. I think it's for the first time we are putting pressure on someone in the toilet. जल्दी. पोड़ा. ekkade podi. So now that we know what areas to focus on, oh no, we don't know. क्या है ये सब? Bro. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Shruti and I'm from Think Plus. Think Plus is basically an IIM grads initiative that helps you land into your dream college. You all have taken the IPMAT Rohtak entrance test recently, but now is not the time to cut some slack. We have to get back on our preparation journey and begin with our final revision of IPMAT Indore. So before we discuss anything, when is the exam? When is IPMAT Indore? Mark this date because this is when you have to sit for your IPMAT Indore entrance test. So this video is predominantly going to be focusing on your last 1 month preparation plan. It's more of a revision plan in which we'll be chalking out the topics based on their weightage and when to cover what. Because you all would be confused because your syllabus is already done and you must be wondering how to prepare, where to start and how to cover entire syllabus in the remaining days before the final date of the exam. So wait till the end of the video. We'll be sharing an entire spreadsheet. You can find that in the description below. It's been curated by a team of wonderful people at Think Plus only for you. So wait till the end. Watch out what's next. That wonderful person was you. You're the person, you're the team, you're the wonderful person, you are Think Plus. You. But then it's me, I'm the one making the video, so credit to me. So if you see the trend, verbal scores are increasing and the cutoff for the verbal ability section is increasing. And if we compare it with the weightage that IIM Indore puts on all of these 3 sections, then you will know what is the best strategy to ace this exam. So let's take you there. IIM Indore has its own weightage for all these 3 sections. The first one is the MCQ based quant section. The second one is the short answer TETA, which is type in the answer based questions from quants again. And the third part is the verbal ability section, right? So if you see, it's 50% for quants and 50% for verbal ability. But that doesn't mean that there's equal weightage for quants and verbal, because if you notice, the number of questions from quants combined with the above 2 sections is actually more than verbal, right? So less number of questions from verbal, but still a 50% weightage, which means this is a section. The verbal ability section is one of those areas in the paper where you should be aiming to maximize your scores, because if you see the trend, again, I'll be reminding you of the trend that the scores are actually very high. The cutoff scores are pretty high. So in the short answer type questions, you do not have to worry about knowing the answer or not knowing the answer, because there is no negative marking. So regardless of anything, just attempt this section completely. Even if it's wrong, it's fine. You're not being awarded a negative mark. Attempt it. But the MCQ section is one area of the paper in which you have to be a little calculative and act according to your common sense. If there's a question you're not aware of, leave it. That's the best strategy you can have. Isn't this too much noise? So now we've come to a stage in which we will figure out the kind of paper pattern which is there in terms of breakup of the questions in each section. So we'll see what are the topics that you have to lay more emphasis on, and that would suit your and that would tailor your needs in your preparation strategy for this 1 month. We'll start with the quant section. So if you see, numbers has been very consistent, right? There have been a lot of questions from this one chapter, so this is important. Likewise, I'll mark some chapters for you. Averages is important. Time, speed, distance is important. And as always, there is a short question from PNC and probability. Ratio proportion, 1 question you can expect, 1 or 2 questions you can actually expect. But then chapters like percentages, even if the number of questions that come from this chapter are less, but you all would be aware that percentages is a type of chapter, and even percentages and ratio and proportion are the kind of topics which have relevance in the forthcoming chapters as well. So you do not have to think that you can leave this topic completely, because the relevance comes in other topics. So here are the list of topics which are the most important, right? If you see, every year there have been questions from these topics. So if you see, geometry is important, trigonometry is there, linear and quadratic equations, sequence and series, very, very important. Then functions and graphs, and then coming on to logarithms and exponentials as a result of this. Expected, you will be getting questions from these topics. Then there's set theory and matrices and determinants, which is also somewhat a short topic in which you can actually expect questions. Let's move on to the next section now to see how that section is structured in the paper. So here is the verbal ability section. So the reading comprehension section is what will give you the maximum number of marks. So make sure you're consistent in reading some RCs or articles, passages, so that your reading touch doesn't go and you're well versed with quick reading, skimming through, and then answering the questions rightly. Vocabulary and grammar are two of the major chunks in the paper. Vocabulary would include things like synonyms, antonyms, homonyms, then filler-based questions. If you see this, we've written fillers, and the weightage is also pretty high, right? Now, if you see fillers, they are broadly classified into two parts again. Fillers in sentence completion can come from grammar. Then fillers in sentence completion can also come from the vocabulary section, right? So let's just ignore fillers for now, because if your vocabulary and grammar is revised perfectly, then I'm pretty sure that the filler sentence completion part is not a difficult ballgame. Para-jumbles, sure shot. It's going to come. And I'll suggest that you just quickly see the difficulty level by reading those 4 sentences and how you can structure them. But do not waste time, because from our observation, a lot of kids are actually weak at this section. But if it's your strength, then of course, go for it. Generally, it's seen that para summary is not asked in this paper. But if your RC and reading is strong, then even if a question from para summary comes, you have to attempt it. At least try attempting it. Don't just skip to the next section just because you didn't prepare well for it. Then comes the critical reasoning part. If you see, it's a complete blank, right? There are no questions which are separately asked from critical reasoning. But there are some inferential and statement or passage conclusion based questions which are based on your reading comprehensions. But then they require a certain level of critical ability and critical reasoning to solve those questions. I will bet my money on Mukesh. Mukesh, my boy, crack Indore. Let's just skip to the part which you all were waiting for, the final 1 month revision strategy for IP MAT Indore. So this is it. I'll show you an overall idea about the plan, and then we'll step into the details as well. So that's how it is divided, different chapters, and this is the quant section, and this is the verbal ability section. And then we've divided the chapters based on their difficulty level first, and secondly, based on the weightage of the exams, weightage of these chapters in the exam. So a quick glimpse on this. This is the remaining part of it, right? So we'll start from here. Here is a division on the dates. We start from 26th, which is today, and if you see the chapter-wise division, we've clubbed one easy chapter with one difficult chapter, or one chapter of higher weightage but easy with a chapter that's also relatively easy. So the split up of the chapters in various days is well thought of. It's not random. But then again, all of this is just a suggestion. It would definitely suit your needs if you want to follow it. But even if you have another amazing plan in mind, we're not stopping you. Go ahead. So in this manner, your quant syllabus will be revised for one more time before you sit for your exam. Now let's move on to the verbal part as well. In this, if you see, every third day, there's a repetition, right? Every third day, there's para-jumbles. Every other third day, we have grammar practice. And every alternate third day, we have idioms, phrasal verbs, and proverbs, right? So for one day, with your quants preparation, you can't be doing mathematics all day, right? So just for a break, shift to verbal, and let's say 26th of May, these are the three things that you should be aiming for. Para-jumbles practice, para-summary practice, and grammar. So when I say grammar, these are the following things which come under grammar, which you should be practicing on. First is error detection, right? Here there are questions of spotting the error, right? So it's mostly grammar based. See where it's grammatically incorrect and then select the option. So that's number one. Second is fillers, which I already mentioned that these are fillers from grammar section and these are also fillers from the vocab section. So when you're focusing on grammar, the focus of fillers is on grammar. And then the third is sentence completion, in which there'll be a sentence and at the end of the sentence, you would have to choose the best fit, right? Then you have para completion. There's an entire paragraph and there'll be one concluding sentence which you will be choosing from the options. Then the fifth type is choosing the best fit, choosing the better fit, choosing the best fit. So there'll be a question, there'll be a statement in the question, and there'll be a phrase which is underlined. You need to see if that phrase fits well in the sentence. If not, choose the options wisely and replace the underlined sentence to make the entire sentence grammatically and logically correct. So that's how your verbal ability section would also go hand in hand with your quants preparation. And that will be one good strategy to cover the entire syllabus in that short span of time. So when that is done, here we come to the second part of this revision strategy, in which your focus is on your mocks, right? So the plan is that on, let's say, 5th of June, you write 2 mocks, morning slot, evening slot, and then on the next day, which is 6th of June, you keep it completely for your analysis, right? So what I would suggest is, for your slot of the mocks, take the time of the exam. 2 to 4. Okay, boss. Got it. So for the remaining days, all you have to do is use that preparation and put it into practice through mocks and mock analysis. So if you see, for 5th of June, the plan is that you write 2 mocks. I know it's a little stressful and daunting as a task, but let's do this, right? So for the remaining days, we'll put our preparation into practice and let's just start writing mocks at this stage, right? So the plan is that you give 2 mocks in one day and keep the next 2 days for analysis. So basically M1 is mock 1 and A1 is analysis of mock 1, right? So that will go on for a few days. Make sure that you keep the last 3 days solely for revision. Do not attempt any new mock. Do not start a new concept on these last 3 days. Keep the last 3 days solely for revision. That is when you'll be revising all your formulas, your vocabulary list, and then the list of idioms, phrases, phrasal verbs. Everything is compiled and curated by the Think Plus team. So if you want access to that, do get back to us. We will be more than happy to guide you through that process as well. So while you're doing these mocks, also make sure that you're consistent with your verbal ability practice. If you see this, 1 RC per day is still a must. If you think you're an expert and you do not need practice, still make sure you do 1 RC per day, because if you're an expert, you would hardly take 7 to 8 minutes per RC. So it wouldn't be a time waste for the day. Do it. It's important. Then make sure that you're also regular with your practice of para-jumbles, para-summary, grammar, vocab words. Stay tuned to this channel for more such videos on the IT MAT Indore strategy, the do's and don'ts before the exam, and quick tips for you to completely ace this exam and get yourself a seat at Indian Institute of Management, Indore. If you like our content, please like, share, subscribe, and share our videos with all your friends who are preparing for IT MAT. Thank you. See you soon in our next videos. Till then, stay healthy, happy, sleep on time, and prepare well. Thank you. Bye-bye.